Konnichiwa minasan. O genki desu ka? Welcome to my channel. Let's learn Japanese with Eric. If you would like to learn Japanese for work, travel, or simply personal interest, please subscribe to my channel and watch the videos in chronological order. All lessons are written in both English and Japanese, so if you read Japanese, you can follow along reading the Hiragana alphabet. If you haven't learned the Hiragana yet, you can learn them all in one afternoon by going through lessons 1, 2, and 3. Otherwise, you're perfectly fine following along using the English transliteration. So let's begin. Hajimemashou. If this is your first time to study Japanese verbs, I suggest you watch lesson 25 first to get a general idea of how Japanese verbs are categorized. And if possible, watch lesson 26 first as well, which is on category 1 verbs. This lesson is on category 2 verbs, which are also regular verbs. There are 9 kinds depending on the hiragana ending of their dictionary forms. When conjugated into the basic 10, the last hiragana is not dropped, but changes to something else in a very predictable pattern. They are also not difficult to conjugate once you know the rules. Category 2 verbs are also called U-type verbs or Godan verbs by conventional textbooks. They're grouped here according to the similarity of rules in verb conjugation. You have ku and gu, then su by itself, then bu, mu, and nu, and ru, tsu, and u. This lesson is about those verbs that end in ku, gu, and su. In this lesson, we will learn how to conjugate last hiragana-changing verbs whose dictionary forms end in ku, gu, and su. For each kind of verb ending, we will conjugate 2 verbs, and I will introduce you to 8 more commonly used verbs for a total of 10 verbs for each kind of ending. By the end of this lesson, you will know 30 new verbs. We will also practice making sentences with these verbs. Again, as a sort of review, the 10 basic verb conjugations cover the plain forms and formal forms, both containing non-past and past tenses, in the affirmative and negative. Then we add the te form and the conjunctive form for a total of 10 basic verb conjugations. And here are the general rules to conjugating category 2 verbs. The plain non-past affirmative is simply the dictionary form of the verb. As always, it means will do. The plain non-past negative is formed by changing the last hiragana to the A series and adding nai to form will not do. And the past tense of that is simply changing nai to nakatta to form the plain past negative, which means did not do. To form the formal, the last hiragana changes to the I series and you add mas. Once you know that, the others fall neatly into place. Mas changes to masen for the negative, changes to mashita for the past tense affirmative, and to masen deshita for the past tense negative. Removing the mas leaves you with a conjunctive form as before. Then we have various endings for the plain past affirmative, which is directly related to how the te form is formed. Here are what you need to pay particular attention to: the hiragana ending of the verb, how to form the negative, the ending changes to the A series, then you add nai, and to form the formal, the hiragana ending changes to the I series and you add mas. So the ending ku changes to ka to form the negative, and it changes to ki to form the formal. Gu changes to ga to form the negative, and to gi to form the formal. Su changes to sa to form the negative, and to shi to form the formal. Remember that Japanese has no si, but they have shi instead for the I series. Sa, shi, su, se, so. And to form the plain past affirmative, ku changes to ita, and that ita changes to ite to form the te form. Gu changes to ida for the plain past affirmative, and then to ide to form the te form. We group ku and gu together because of these similarities, while su is on its own. To form the plain past affirmative, su changes to shita, and this changes to shite to form the te form. Let's put these rules into practice in the next slides. The verb to write is kaku. This is also the dictionary form, and this is also the plain non-past affirmative form. The dictionary form kaku is the plain non-past affirmative, meaning writes or will write. The key here is to pay attention to the hiragana ending, which is shown here in green. Anything before it stays the same. To conjugate to the negative, ku changes to the A series, which is ka. Then we add nai to form kakanai, which means doesn't write or won't write. And to form the past tense, and this applies to all verbs as well as adjectives, the nai always changes to nakatta. Kakanakatta means did not write. To form the formal, the ki changes to the I series, to ki, and then we add mas, kakimas, which also means writes or will write. Then the others easily follow. To form the negative, mas changes to masen to form kakimasen, meaning doesn't write or won't write. Past tense of kakimas is kakimashita, meaning wrote. The mas changes to mashita, and the past tense of kakimasen is kakimasen deshita, meaning did not write. Masen changes to masen deshita to form the past tense. This is true for all verbs regardless of category. If we drop the mas, we form the conjunctive, which is kaki. To form the plain past affirmative, the ku changes to ita to form kaita, which means wrote, and the te form is kaite. The ita changes to ite. And this is how it looks like when written in Japanese. Kaku. Ku changes to the A series, kakanai. Nai changes to nakatta, kakanakatta. Ku changes to the I series, kakimas, then kakimasen, kakimashita, kakimasen deshita. Drop the mas to form the conjunctive, kaki. Ku changes to ita to form kaita, then te form is kaite. Kaku and kakimas both mean writes or will write. Kakanai and kakimasen both mean doesn't write or won't write. Kaita and kakimashita both mean wrote, and kakanakatta and kakimasen deshita both mean did not write. The only difference is the level of politeness. Another common ku ending verb is aruku, which means to walk. The dictionary form aruku. Negative is A series plus nai, arukanai, won't walk. Past tense, arukanakatta, which means did not walk. To form the formal, ku changes to ki and add mas, arukimas. Negative, arukimasen. Past tense, arukimashita. Past tense of the negative, arukimasen deshita. Drop the mas to form the conjunctive, aruki. Plain past affirmative requires changing the ku to ita to form aruita. And te form is aruite. And again, this is how it looks like when written in Japanese. Aruku. Ku to the A series, arukanai. Nai changes to nakatta, arukanakatta. Ku changes to the I series, arukimas. Arukimasen. Arukimashita. Arukimasen deshita. Drop the mas to form the conjunctive, aruki. To form the plain past, ku changes to ita, aruita. And te form is aruite. Aruku and arukimas both mean walks or will walk. Arukanai and arukimasen both mean doesn't walk or won't walk. Aruita and arukimashita both mean walked. And arukanakatta and arukimasen deshita both mean did not walk. Here are additional common ku ending verbs besides kaku and aruku. Kiku means to listen or ask a question. Hiku means to pull or catch a cold. When you say kaze o hiku. Hiku using a different kanji can also mean to play a stringed instrument such as a guitar or piano. Haku means to wear footwear. Fuku means to blow or play a wind instrument such as a flute or saxophone. Hataraku means to work. Naku means to cry. And shiku means to lay out something such as a tent or blanket. In the next few slides, let's practice making simple sentences using ku-ending verbs. How do you say in Japanese, I wrote a letter to my friend in Japan? First in plain style, then formal style. Using plain style language, 日本の友達に手紙を書いた。日本の友達に手紙を書いた。And using the formal style, 日本の友達に手紙を書きました。日本の友達に手紙を書きました。The verb to work is 働く. How do you say in Japanese, Miss Tanaka works at a bank? Using plain style language, 田中さんは銀行で働く。田中さんは銀行で働く。And using formal style, 田中さんは銀行で働きます。田中さんは銀行で働きます。Kiku means to listen or ask a question. How do you say in Japanese? He never asks a question. Question in Japanese is 質問. Using plain style language, 彼は質問を全然聞かない。彼は質問を全然聞かない。And using formal style, 彼は質問を全然聞きません。彼は質問を全然聞きません。Let's look at gu-ending verbs. The verb oyogu means to swim. The dictionary form oyogu is also the plain non-past affirmative. It means swim or will swim. To conjugate to the negative, gu ending changes to the A series, which is ga, and then we add nai to form oyoganai, which means doesn't swim or won't swim. To form the past tense, nai always changes to nakatta to form oyoganakkata, which means did not swim. To form the formal, gu changes to the I series gi to form oyogimasu, which means will swim or swims. Then we form the other conjugations, oyogimasen, oyogimashita, and oyogimasen deshita. Drop the mas and we form oyogi, which is the conjunctive form. To form the plain past affirmative, the gu becomes ida to form oyoida, which means swam, and ida changes to ide to form oyoide, which is the te form. And this is how it looks like in Japanese. Oyogu, oyoganai, oyoganakatta, oyogimasu, oyogimasen, oyogimashita, oyogimasen deshita, oyogi, oyoida, oyoide. Oyogu and oyogimasu both mean swims or will swim. Oyoganai and oyogimasen both mean doesn't swim or won't swim. Oyoida and oyogimashita both mean swam, and oyoganakatta and oyogimasen deshita both mean did not swim. Another common gu ending verb is fusegu, which means to prevent. Conjugating, fusegu for the plain non-past affirmative, negative is fuseganai, past tense of that is fuseganakatta, formal form fusegimasu, fusegimasen, fusegimashita, fusegimasen deshita. Drop the mas to get fusegi, which is the conjunctive form. Gu changes to ida to form fuseida, which is the plain past affirmative, and ida changes to ide to form fuseide, which is the te form. Fusegu and fusegimasu both mean prevents or will prevent. Fuseganai and fusegimasen both mean does not or will not prevent. Fuseida and fusegimashita both mean prevented, and fuseganakatta and fusegimasen deshita both mean did not prevent. Aside from oyogu and fusegu, here are some other common gu-ending verbs. Isogu means to hurry up. Kasegu means to earn a living. Katsugu means to shoulder or to literally carry something on one's shoulders. Nugu means to take off clothing. Sawagu means to make noise. Sosogu means to pour. Tsugu means to inherit or succeed a person. And tsunagu means to connect. How do you say in Japanese? Last summer, I swam in the river. Summer is natsu, and river is kawa. Using plain style language, 去年の夏、私は川を泳いだ。去年の夏、私は川を泳いだ。And using formal style language, 去年の夏、私は川を泳ぎました。去年の夏、私は川を泳ぎました。Nugu means to take off clothing. How do you say in Japanese, she did not remove her socks? Socks is 靴下. Using plain language, 彼女は靴下を脱がなかった。彼女は靴下を脱がなかった。And using formal style, 彼女は靴下を脱ぎませんでした。彼女は靴下を脱ぎませんでした。To pour liquids in Japanese is sosogu. How do you say, Mom pours water into the cup? Using plain style language, お母さんがカップに水を注ぐ。お母さんがカップに水を注ぐ。And using formal style, お母さんがカップに水を注ぎます。お母さんがカップに水を注ぎます。And lastly, we look at how to conjugate su-ending verbs. The verb to talk or speak is hanasu. The dictionary form hanasu is the plain non-past affirmative. It means speaks or will speak. To conjugate to the negative, su becomes sa, and we add nai, hanasanai, which means doesn't speak or won't speak. To form the past tense, nai always changes to nakatta to form hanasanakatta, which means did not speak. To form the formal, su changes to she and we add mas to form hanashimas. Then the other simply involves conjugating mas to masen to form hanashimasen, to mashita, hanashimashita, and to masen deshita to form hanashimasen deshita. Dropping the mas forms the conjunctive, hanashi. And to form the plain past affirmative, the su changes to shita to form hanashita. And to form the te form, shita changes to shite to form hanashite. And once more in Japanese, hanasu, hanasanai, hanasanakatta, hanashimasu, hanashimasen, hanashimashita, hanashimasen deshita, hanashi, hanashita, hanashite. Hanasu and hanashimasu both mean speaks or will speak. Hanasanai and hanashimasen both mean doesn't speak or won't speak. Hanashita and hanashimashita both mean spoke. And hanasanakatta and hanashimasen deshita both mean did not speak. Another common su-ending verb is kesu, which means to erase. Conjugating, kesu means erases or will erase. Su changes to sa, add nai. Kesanai means doesn't erase or won't erase. Past tense, kesanakatta, did not erase. To form the formal, su changes to she, add mas. Keshimasu, keshimasen, keshimashita, keshimasen deshita. Drop the mas, you end up with keshi, which is the conjunctive. And to form the plain past, su changes to shita, keshita, erased. And the te form, shita changes to shite, keshite. Besides hanasu and kesu, here are 8 more commonly used su-ending verbs. Dasu means to put out or send. Kaesu means to return something. Korosu means to kill. Mawasu means to turn something. Nakusu means to lose something. Osu means to push. Sasu means to point. And watasu means to hand over something. In the next few slides, let's practice making sentences with these verbs. The verb to talk or speak is hanasu. How do you say in Japanese? Mr. Smith will talk to Miss Suzuki tomorrow. In plain style, 明日、スミスさんは鈴木さんに話す。明日、スミスさんは鈴木さんに話す。And in formal style, 明日、スミスさんは鈴木さんに話します。明日、スミスさんは鈴木さんに話します。The verb to erase is 消す。How do you say in Japanese? The teacher erased the blackboard. Blackboard is 黒板. In plain style, 先生が黒板を消した。先生が黒板を消した。And using formal style, 先生が黒板を消しました。先生が黒板を消しました。The verb to hand over something is 渡す. How do you say in Japanese? She won't hand him the money. Plain style, 彼女は彼にお金を渡さない。彼女は彼にお金を渡さない。And in formal style, 彼女は彼にお金を渡しません。彼女は彼にお金を渡しません。To summarize, in this lesson, you learned how to conjugate ku-ending verbs into the 10 basic verb conjugations. The dictionary form is the plain non-past affirmative. To conjugate that into the negative, ku changes to a series, which is ka, after which you add nai. The past tense of this is simply changing nai to nakatta. To conjugate to the formal styles, the ku ending changes to ki, and you add mas. And to form other conjugations, mas changes to masen, mashita, or masen deshita. Dropping the mas forms the conjunctive, which ends in ki. And to form the plain past, ku changes to ita. And to form the te form, ita changes to ite. You also learned how to conjugate gu-ending verbs. Dictionary form is the plain non-past affirmative. To conjugate that to the negative, gu changes to the A series ga, after which you add nai. Past tense is simply changing nai to nakatta. To conjugate to the formal styles, gu changes to gi, and you add mas. And the other conjugations automatically follow. Masen, mashita, masen deshita. Dropping the mas forms the conjunctive, which ends in gi. To form the plain past affirmative, gu changes to ida, and to the te form, ida changes to ide. And lastly, you learned how to conjugate su-ending verbs as well. The dictionary form is the plain non-past affirmative. To conjugate that into the negative, su changes to the A series, sa, after which you add nai. The past tense is simply changing nai to nakatta. To conjugate to the formal styles, su ending changes to shi, and you add mas. And the others follow. Masen, mashita, masen deshita. Dropping the mas forms the conjunctive, which ends in shi. To form the plain past affirmative, su changes to shita. And to form the te form, shita changes to shite. We also practiced making sentences using simple verb tenses in the plain and formal styles. In total, you learned 10 verbs each in the ku, gu, and su endings for a total of 30 new verbs. Since you know how to conjugate them in 8 different ways, that gives you a verb vocabulary of 240 verbs. Adding the 240 you know from root-dropping verbs, that gives you a total verb vocabulary of at least 480 ways to say things. Combine that, your knowledge of the particles, adjectives, nouns, and pronouns, you can actually say way more things now. I hope this lesson gave you greater clarity on the Japanese language. I'll see you in the next video where we learn how to conjugate category 2 verbs that end in bu, mu, and nu. If you're serious about becoming fluent in Japanese, it's important to practice daily, learn grammar, and build up vocabulary. My whole course is designed to give you a strong basic foundation in the Japanese language that you can build solidly on. So please click like, share, or subscribe, and watch the next video in the series. 日本語の勉強に頑張ってください。じゃあ、またね。